Okay, I am going to put together a quick video that I promised Tammy I would do, showing how I implement and enter my at the money 0 DTE SPX iron flies. The first thing I want to do, and I'm going to get out of this one, but we're going to look at the hourly chart, which is displayed here. One of the things I wanted to point out is that there are blue areas which are gaps that occur just about every day. These gaps can be very important in identifying key support and resistant areas. The rule of thumb is that once a gap is filled, and it doesn't matter whether it is the actual gap of the existing trading day or a gap that is still open from previous trading days. Once that gap is filled, that is shown to be a magnet for pricing. And once the gap is filled, there is a tendency for the market to reverse from that point. So I try to keep an eye on that. So this is the first chart that I look at before the market opens. The second is to look at news, and if you look at the Forex factory chart, which I use every day, you also want to make sure that there's no news that's going to occur after 9:30. And in this case, we have a new situation developing with President Trump, who likes to speak almost every day, which can move markets depending on what he says. So that's a new development in trading that I like to keep track of. The final chart that I use before the market opens is the ES chart. And there are two valuable indicators that I look at here for pre-market action. One is the volume profile, and that is indicated with two white lines, which is the high and low of the volume profile where most of the volume occurs. The second is a yellow line, which is the actual point of control of where price tends to migrate to between those two white lines. So that tells me whether there's a wide range of expectation or a narrow range. And in this case, we're looking at a pretty narrow range. The second valuable volume related indicator is the volume weighted average price, better known as VWAP. And this is the two standard deviation highs and lows between that value weighted price. As you can see here, just before the market opens, we had a range between 61.57 and 61.47, so only a 10-point difference in the range all pre-market. I also like to put up the pivots, and I have them color-coded so that if this is green, it indicates the pivots are leaning bullish rather than bearish. If this is white, it is neutral. If it's red, it is bearish. And that's basically it. The other thing that I look at here is the volume. And I found that in the first 5 minutes, this is a 5-minute chart, in the first 5 minutes, if volume exceeds 50,000, it's probably going to be a pretty volatile opening. So I keep an eye on that as well. So those are the two things that I look at pre-market. Now we're getting ready for the market to open at 9:30, and we'll check back then. One other thing I wanted to mention is that I do use the TOS active trader window, which shows the actual volume on the active trader dome, and it also highlights the high and low and the amount of distance between those two. So it's another way of me monitoring the actual activity of the ES futures, which, as you know, is directly correlated with the SPX index option. So it's a valuable chart to have open during the day. So we're waiting for the market to open, and then I'll check back. Okay, the market has just opened, and as you can see, we've had a push down to the pivot and to the low point of the value area on the ES. So what I'm going to do is wait for the first 5 minutes of price action before we take a look at the spreadsheet and the gamma exposure chart. But this tells you that, again, the price action is within the expected range, but it is breaking through the lower point of the value area. And as you can see here, the volume is building in this area right here. So that's something to keep an eye on. But the volume in the first minute is about 15,000. So I would expect that we don't exceed the 40 or 50,000 that I would expect to create a more volatile market. Okay, right now we're looking at my Excel spreadsheet, and specifically the GEX information that I have been using to help determine when to enter a trade. Okay. If you can see here, I'm going to draw rectangles around what is pretty much a positive GEX situation. So what we're looking for is a pullback of the market to a area where we will find support or resistance. With the positive GEX, we expect some sort of pullback, and I'm going to look at the oh shit, it doesn't work. All right, I'm looking at the SPX 1 minute and also the 15-minute chart. As you can see here, we do have a gap up, and we've had a pullback, okay? But as you can see, we have pulled back from there. So within the first 7 minutes of trading, we've found a nice sweet spot. If you look at the 15-minute, the market maker move in Think or Swim shows a pretty narrow area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Excel spreadsheet, and I'm looking at the 6120. I'm looking at the 6120 here as my at the money. So I'm going to click on Copy to TOS. Okay. And I am going to go to my Analyze tab, which I'm going to show right here. Bear with me here. I've got too many screens to monitor. Okay, here we are. So I click on here, and in order entry, I click this icon here, which, whoops, it didn't copy. Let me do that again. Okay, so that order for the 6120 is now in the trade tab. Now I don't enter this trade at this point. What I do is I right click and I put it in the Analyze tab. Okay, now that it's in the Analyze tab, you can see that the risk profile does show up. Now, I keep this here, but I also click here and analyze the opposite trade, and I unlock it so I can see where this particular trade is going right now. But I like the fact, again, this is kind of difficult to record because I'm looking at two different charts here. But going back to the full chart, you can see that I am pretty comfortable in what's going on right here. So I am going to place this trade. And the way I do it is I click here and I create a duplicate order. But I want to uncheck that now because we're at 2050. And so I don't want to. So I create a duplicate order and I want to delete this. Okay, create a duplicate order. And we can see that it has dropped down from the 20. Okay, now it is 22. And I am going to go ahead and confirm and send. And I think I just got filled. So I am going to right click on this. I'm going to copy this trade. I'm going to come down to my spreadsheet. And I'm going to paste it right here. What the hell is going on? Something is wrong. Oh, this is the important thing. All right, you cannot use the actual order. You have to go back to the Analyze tab and click here what you have. It's 2030. So it's 2030. Now I copy the trade and put it in here. And we will have the right format. There are two different formats for an order. This is an important point if you're going to use the spreadsheet. An actual order has a different nomenclature than an order in the Analyze tab. And my spreadsheet is coded to be able to take information from the Analyze tab rather than the Trade tab. But the orders that are generated from the model are in a format that can be directly pasted into the Trade tab. I know this is confusing, and this is one of the reasons why I find it difficult in trying to explain all this in a video. But I do hope that you bear with me here, because once you get used to using it, it becomes second nature. So here we have an order, and it went in at 2030. We got filled, and right now the live order is coming through with $140 profit. Okay, so what do I do now? Next step is to come down here and look at what my target is based on a 2-to-1, 1-to-2 ratio, which means that we have an IF profit percentage of credit would be 12%, and the risk would be 6%. So this generates an order to a profit order in this spreadsheet. So I click here on top where it says copy target to TOS, and I come over to my hour chart, and I open the order tab, click here. Now, this is the important point. I now have my profit order in the Trade tab. I right click, and instead of sending the order, I come down here to the Create Alert button. Okay? that creates this window, which allows you to place an alert. Now, I am going to place this alert when the price is below the profit target. I'm going to close the preview and open up the sound. Now, I have made specific voice files. And for the profit, I have a first target and second target, and it sounds like this.
SPX, first target reached. SPX, first target reached. SPX, first target reached.
So I know when that comes through on my computer that the price is close to my target, and I will assess the situation at that point in time. So I click create, and that alert is scheduled. The second thing I want to do is set a stop order. So I come back to the Excel spreadsheet, and right now there is a copy stop loss to TOS. I click on that, or double click, come back to my Analyze tab, and also I have the order entry tool open, and I copy that into TOS trade tab. I right click, and again, instead of putting a hard stop in, I want to know when the price is above 25.90. And again, I have a voice file that signals
warning, SPX stop reached. Warning, SPX stop reached. Warning, SPX stop reached.
I click on create.
Warning, SPX stop reached. Warning, SPX stop reached. Warning, SPX stop reached.
Something went wrong here. Create an alert. The price is above. Okay. So now we're all set up, and we're just going to monitor the market as we go through the day. One of the things I want to point out here is we have on the 1 minute SPX chart filled the opening gap. So it's highly likely at this point that we are going to bounce from that point. One other thing I want to do is going back to the Analyze tab, is that I want to come over here to this and set slices to break even for my position. Do it again. Set slices. Okay. So now I have my break even. It doesn't look like it's in the demo. I'm doing this in the demo mode because obviously I can't trade and record at the same time. It's too difficult. Okay. There we are. So now I have the two break-even points set. This is an important process because I need to know where these support and resistance levels are in order for me to determine how to correct the position that I'm in. So I'm going to click here. The second step is to set slices to chart. So I come over here. I have all my charts set at default. So when I click this, two lines show up. And I have to manually go in here and edit this and label this break even. Save as default, and come down here, edit properties, set it to break even, and click OK. Now, when I come down to my 15-minute chart, on that chart I will have my break even for the position that I'm in. Another thing that I want to do, I have a yellow line that depicts the SPX VWAP as it is in the spreadsheet. I want to edit that manually and enter 6125, which is the current VWAP adjusted, ES VWAP adjusted for the SPX. So now I have a pretty good overview as to where the center is, which would be right here at the yellow line. I'm pretty comfortable that my break evens are well within the expected move generated by TOS. This is a unique feature of TOS, that the market maker move is different than the actual expected move in the option chain. And I find it very, very helpful to help me make decisions in terms of correcting the trade should either one of these areas get threatened. So now we just sit back and see what happens with price and with the current iron fly that we've put on at 2120. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to do here before I leave you is I'm going to go back to my Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to come down here and say, okay, right now, which area is threatened the most? And I would say probably I'm going to look at putting in a put stop. So I click on this button right here, put stop. I come back to my Analyze tab, and well, actually I want to go to the Trade tab. Let me do that again. Okay, so I'm putting in my buy the short put. I right click, and I send it over to my Analyze tab. Okay, so now I have in place what would be a stop should I get threatened on that side. I'm going to take that off because we don't need it right now. But I'm also going to do the same thing for the call side. So coming back to the spreadsheet, I'm going to click on my stop for the call side. I'm going to place that in there, which is now, as you can see, the call. Whoops, I got to show you the... Okay. I'm putting that in. I am going to analyze that as well in the Analyze tab. I'm going to close this. So now I have a break even if I'm threatened on the call side. So they're both in my Analyze tab, so I can quickly return to these orders to place it in Thinkorswim should I get threatened. So let's go back and see where we are right now. I think if we look at our monitor, we are up 180. Oh, well, we're still in good shape. So I will check back should anything change, and we'll monitor this trade going into... Oh, one of the other things I wanted to mention, and let me just bring that ES chart up. There is, and I've been asked what the value is of the trade zones. This orange trade zone is the last 30 minutes of the European Open. This red zone is the maximum that I will stay in a trade for the day, which closes at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So this starts at 11 o'clock, closes at 11:30, and then my get out, no matter what, is at 12:30. So that's what these zones mean. I know that there's been some question about what that represents. One of the other things I want to point out is that the average true range for the last 14 days is 59 points, 59.33. We've actually only moved 11 points. So we're well below what the average range is on the SPX. However, if we look at the ES, let me bring that up. We are 37% of that range. So we've moved more in the ES pre-market than we did in the SPX, but not that much. So I think we're in pretty good shape in this 6120. If I look at the spreadsheet at this point in time, you can see that we are right on the money. This would be the break-evens area. This is the danger zone. Start, trying to make corrections if we get to these two areas, which is no longer green but caution yellow. The red is okay, time to make a decision. But right now we're right smack in the sweet zone, so we're doing just fine on this trade. Okay, at 10 o'clock, we can see that we've had some bearish activity. We're still in the green zone of the iron fly, and we have, if I take a look at the ES, we can see that we've come back to the lower portion of the VWAP and also the value area. So I would expect that we will bounce from here. If we look at the GEX, going back to the spreadsheet, we can see that right here, the 16120 is still has the largest volume. So that is a magnet. That's where we can expect price to come back to, and that is where our at the money strike is at this point in time. We're still positive, although we're starting to get some negative activity down here. So I just wanted to point that out at this point in the trading day. What I wanted to point out at this point at 10:05, I have now put in the Analyze tab buying back the put at its current price of 1370, and you can see what the risk profile chart looks like at this point in time. If I just do this now, I would and hold till expiration, which is something that I may or may not do. But if I enter this trade at this point in time, I would have a profit of about $380. The actual percentage of to break even is about 60%. So that's almost twice of what the iron fly would be. But you got to understand that the market could reverse and we could have a significant drawdown should we hold this trade to 6170, which could happen. But this is how I look at adjusting the trade if necessary. Right now, if we look at the Excel spreadsheet, we're well within the green range. So that's not something that I would consider doing at this point in time. We are currently making $280 on this trade, and we can expect more theta decay as the day moves on. So that's the beauty of this trade, and I hope this is coming through clear to those that are interested in utilizing this strategy. Okay, right now we're looking at the GEX again. And we can see that the 1620 is still got significant volume, but also the 6105 and the 6130. Oh, it's just changed, and again the 6120 seems to be the prominent strike where the market is focused on. Even the 6105 would take us very close to the the caution zone, but not totally a panic zone where you want to start making adjustments to the trade. Right now, we are closing in on less than a point from our target of 1785. It's listed right now as 1835 is our current price to buy back. Right now, that's a profit of $390. Our alert hasn't been triggered, so we're just going to hang on here and see what happens in the next half hour. Okay, our alert has been triggered. Right now, it was as low as 17. We're bouncing at 1785. I'm going to go ahead and put in our closing order. And we do that by just going here, clicking on copy target. Then we go over to our 1 hour chart, click here, and we paste our order in here, and here is our order at 1785. It's currently at 1795. And let me go back here and take this out of here just to see where we are. I had taken out the break even, so I'm going to put that back in. All right, we're still at 31%, 32% break even, but we're right smack in the middle. And when we're at this sweet spot here, I don't like to prematurely pull the plug. So let's see where we are. We're at 1795 right now. Now we're at 1785, 1780. Let's put it in at 1755. And I'm going to click confirm, send the order. So our order is in. Let's see if we get filled. If I show you the spreadsheet, you can see right here that the 6130 is building up in volume on the call side, and we haven't seen much change in the 6105. So I'm hoping theta starts kicking in a little bit here, and we can get out of this trade at 1755. I'm going to pause it here and keep you updated as the day progresses. But I do have a hard target in place for 1755, which is now almost a point away from where the pricing is right now. But again, I'm confident that theta is going to help us here, so we'll keep this order in place. One of the things that I want to point out also, if you look at the ES chart, we are at the low of the volume profile, and we bounced off of a gap fill. So the momentum hopefully will take us up to the VWAP, and we will get our desired target based on my assessment of the price action right now. Now, the candles you're looking at here on the ES chart are Heiken Ash candles, which I have found to be helpful in identifying strong trends or weakening trends. And the wicks of the Heiken Ash is a good indicator in which direction the trend wants to go. And right now we have a lot of long wicks on these red Heiken Ash candles. So I am a trader, and I use my trading experience to make my decisions. This is not a mechanical system, and I know that a lot of people in this room are using Tammy's mechanical multi-entry iron condor strategy. And it's mechanical, and I got to commend her for coming up with a strategy that is that way. But what I am doing is trading. And that is how I look at this market. Okay, I did get filled at 1023. Price did come and hit our target of 1755. That generated a net profit of $550 on 2 contracts. So I hope this helps in conveying how I use price action and volume, and place my trades, and then look at ways of adjusting the trade should it go against me in either direction. But here we are at 1024. We were in the trade for less than an hour and made $550. Hope this helps.